Hi! So I thought today we'd look at what you can expect to be able to repair when you're out on the trails or on the road, and what tools you need to carry to be able to do those jobs. Nobody likes the idea of breaking down at all, but if you know that you've got the skills and the tools to deal with the main problems, then you're going to be a lot more confident going out, and that's one worry off your mind. So I've got two bags here. This is my, obviously my larger bag. It's what I use when I'm guiding, or if I'm out for sort of a long day's riding, or say I'm in the Alps or somewhere. So it's got not only equipment to repair the bike multiple times, but also stuff to look after other people and first aid equipment. If I'm just on my local home trails, I tend to use this day pack, this little hip pack, which has got loads of water in it. It has a snack, and then it's got enough tools to deal with these kind of common things. So the first thing that could go wrong if you're looking at it is your chain. So you need tools to deal with either a chain breaking, or that you want to be able to shorten your chain to convert your bike to a single speed if something's gone wrong with your derailleur. So two is gears, and that can be things like a problem with your cable. It can be like using the limit screws on your derailleur to actually, if you've lost a tooth on your cog and you want to limit the amount of movement around the cassette so that you don't use certain cogs, or say you've bent your derailleur, bent your hanger, then you can actually use the derailleur itself to make it safe for you to ride home in limited gears. So that's a great one. Obviously tyres, it's the one everyone thinks of. So that can be things like, if you run tubeless, what are you going to do? If you have a slash in the tyre wall, how are you going to get the tyre off? And I've done another video looking at those things in particular. But we'll talk about that and what tools you need. On gears as well, it's what to do if your cable has frayed. Now, a lot of this is stuff that we can look at when you're just sort of doing regular checks and regular maintenance. So this is really stuff that's going wrong because of an unexpected problem rather than wear and tear. Yeah, so again, brakes. This is less likely to be an issue because it's something you'll have picked up in routine maintenance. But if you are somewhere with really extreme downhill runs there, or your pads are beginning to wear through, then actually you could need to replace your pads while you're out. You're not going to carry stuff to do a brake bleed. That's even I wouldn't do that. And I do like to carry a lot of stuff. So then, looking for those people who have dropper posts, looking at what you can do to as a quick fix, or say your dropper gets stuck down, or what you can do to alleviate that so that you're not pedalling home with your seat really low down. And then just general sort of bolts on the bike. So with those as our main areas we're looking at, I'll show you what I've got in my kit. So first thing is obviously an inner tube. Slightly less expectedly is a wrapper. Looking at, so going back to chains, I carry a quick link, which is the right speed for the chain that I'm running on my bike. So I have a 12-speed chain, therefore I need a 12-speed quick link. I also carry a little, this is Park Tool, because they sent it to me, but it's great. It's quite light, but it's solid, it's well made, and that's going to break your chain. That's a chain breaker. So even if you're just using your quick link, if your chain is broken and you're using a quick link, you need to replace or need to remove the link that's broken and that you're going to be replacing. If you're converting your bike to a single speed because there's something wrong with your cassette, with your derailleur, then you need to take out a whole chunk of chain. So again, you need your chain tool. So moving down, gears. If you're limiting your cassette, that's something we'll look at in the videos that work on gears, then you either need a flathead screwdriver, which I've got on my multi-tool. This is the Park Tool IB2, which I really like, or some derailleurs use an Allen key as a way of changing the limit screws, so you need to be familiar with that. So a multi-tool will help there. I do actually carry a spare hanger in case my hanger bends. Derailleurs and hangers are designed to break before the derailleur does. So it's worth, and they are very specific to bikes, so it's worth always having a spare for your bike and carrying that with you. So tyres. The first thing with tyres is I always use 3 tyre levers, and this little set is great. Again, it's Park Tool, but the 3 sit together. They're nice and light, but they're strong. If you watch some of my earlier videos on puncture repair and removing tyres, you'll see why I use 3. It's a lot easier and doesn't damage the rim, doesn't damage the bead. So that's great. If you're running tubeless, you may well be able to get away with just using a little plug. This set by Dyna has 2 sizes of plug, and that's great. So you may just be able to plug the hole and use a CO2 canister like this, which attaches here, to re-inflate the tyre. However, if you've got a larger slash in your tyre wall, the chances are it's not going to be mended with a plug, and that's where you need an old wrapper from a snack or whatever, and you can use that. You can put that inside the tyre, then put in your inner tube, inflate it, and the inner tube will sandwich that wrapper against the tyre wall and hold it in place, and that will be enough to get you home. Obviously, you may well need a second canister when you're doing that. It's also really good to point out, when you're using canisters, make sure you don't put your hands directly onto the canister when you activate them, because they are very, very cold and you could freeze burn your hands. So that's why I carry 2 canisters, an inner tube and a plug when I'm out cycling. If I'm on a longer ride, then I will also carry a puncture repair kit and a manual pump, because there's no end of how many problems you might have. But if you're riding locally to home, then if you've got more than 2 punctures, you probably do want to go home anyway. Going back to gears, and this also works for droppers, it's worth carrying a little gear cable. Your gear cable shouldn't snap, it shouldn't break. If it's wearing and you haven't noticed, that happens to all of us, you've got a spare one you can put in. If you've got a cable activated dropper, it's often harder to see what the state of that dropper cable is, and then your gear cable will also double up if you have a problem on your dropper. However, if you've got a hydraulic dropper post, then actually what you can do, if your dropper gets stuck down, you can actually manually undo your seat clamp, and using your Allen key, put it up to a height that you can comfortably pedal at and lock it off. Yes, you'll no longer have your dropper post, but at least you'll get home in one piece with your legs not screaming at you. In summary, we've got in the pack, we've got the chain cutter, a chain breaker, quick link. We've got a multi-tool which got a range of sizes of Allen key, as well as a Torx and a flathead fitting. We've got 3 tyre levers that come as a set, an inner tube and a wrapper, a hanger for your derailleur, a couple of CO2 cans and their attachment, and a gear cable. And that all fits in this little pack. Really hope you found that useful. I'll be covering each of these topics and the Trailside, Roadside repairs for them, showing how to use these tools in the forthcoming videos. click subscribe, leave me any comments, and happy cycling.